I see.
What's with these people, man? Lemonade. Read the sign. Lemonade.
Okay.
Delicious.
Iced tea at a lemonade stand? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Marin saved by switching to Geico.
Hey folks, Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. Hope you're having a nice Tuesday. It's about 4:40 Eastern Time. Been going through the latest Wikileaks, among other things. And today was a doozy, not only showing Hilary Clinton and her campaign's continual corruption, arrogance, coordination, blurry ethical lines, but now we see that President Obama has also been implicated in these WikiLeaks, which I'm going to get to in 1 second. A few housekeeping notes. If you're not subscribed, go check out youtube.com/TYT Politics. We just passed 96,000 subscribers. We've been really moving very quickly in recent weeks, trying to get to 100,000 at this point, hopefully before the election. So I am over at that channel most of the time, but I've been doing more on the Young Turks. You could go to youtube.com/TYT Politics. There, in addition to extensive WikiLeaks coverage, I think you'll find more WikiLeaks coverage at TYT Politics than anywhere else, definitely in mainstream media, but certainly among independent media as well. You'll also find reports I did from Standing Rock, where the Native Americans are protecting their water and their land against basically an evil and corrupt oil company and their allies in the government. There's also new videos I just did in Detroit, where I spotlight how Republicans and neoliberal policy have totally screwed up Detroit and pretty much fucked it up, shall I say. So you could go over and watch that report. There's 2 parts to that now. So, big news. President Obama, who said all along that he did not know Hillary Clinton had a private email server, was using private email, all that, well, that was a lie. I'm going to read from you theweek.com has a good story on this. This was found in the Podesta emails today. It's part 18 is out. Headline, Obama claimed he didn't know about Clinton's email server. WikiLeaks just proved that's not true. The latest round of emails from the Clinton campaign, published by WikiLeaks, indicates President Obama might not have found out about Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State at the same time everybody else did. Shortly after Obama told CBS in March 2015 that he learned about the server through news reports, Clinton's former chief of staff at the State Department, Cheryl Mills, sent this email to Clinton campaign chair John Podesta. The email said, "We need to clean this up. He has emails from her. They do not have a state.gov address," meaning Hillary Clinton sent President Obama emails, not using her state.gov address, but her private email address. Mills urging to, quote, clean it up, suggests that Obama not only knew about Clinton's personal email address, but he knowingly communicated with her via her non-government account as well. The Washington Examiner reported FBI agent revealed in notes from their closed investigative file that Obama communicated with Clinton on her private server using a pseudonym. Politico noted White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest later clarified Obama's claim he was unaware of Clinton's email setup, explaining the president was simply, quote, not aware of the details of how the email address and that server had been set up. The president, as I think many people expected, did over the course of his first several years in office exchange emails with his Hold on. Sorry about that, got cut off. The president, as I think many people expected, did over the course of his first several years in office exchange emails with his Secretary of State. So there you have it. I think what this shows, Cheryl Mills, who is in these emails throughout, is basically saying, Obama came out saying, oh, I first found out about this email server from reading news reports. She says, quote, we need to clean this up. He has emails from her. They do not say state.gov. I want to read you one more story on this that I think will drill it in for you. That what Obama said was not necessarily totally on the level, and definitely Hillary Clinton's campaign was freaking out that he was saying this because they knew Obama knew she had a private server. He was emailing back and forth with her. He looks. He saw the email address. It's not like he's just blindly reading the emails without seeing who it's from. It might have raised his eyebrow that it was coming from another account. Do we know what they were emailing about? No, not yet. Direct emails from them, from Obama to Clinton or vice versa, are not out yet. I want to read this. The same day that President Barack Obama publicly insisted that he learned about Hillary Clinton's use of private email for government business from news reports, internal campaign emails show that Clinton staffers knew he wasn't telling the truth. Obama was asked by CBS in March 2015 when he learned about Clinton's use of an email system outside the U.S. government. At the same time, everybody else learned it through news reports, Obama said at that point. In a hacked March 7, 2015 email released by Wikileaks, Clinton spokesperson Josh Sherwin highlighted Obama's comments in an email to other staffers. You probably have more on this, but it looks like POTUS just said he found out HRC was using her personal email when he saw it in the news. Clinton's former chief of staff at the State Department, Cheryl Mills, immediately followed up saying, "We need to clean this up." He has emails from her. They do not say state.gov. Now, you can interpret that however you want. You can interpret him saying, we have to clean this up, as in, we got to get Obama to come out and, tweak what he said, change course, not make it seem like he first heard of the emails from news reports, but he vaguely knew about it. Or, if you want to be a little bit more speculative, that she meant clean it up, as in go in and doctor the emails and change the address. And benefit of the doubt, I'm assuming they weren't talking about going in and doctoring the email to show her emailing from a different account. But President Obama, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're neither, this is not a man who makes statements without thinking, and this is not a man who reads emails without actually reading it. Most people would think if he had back and forth emails with Hillary Clinton, he saw that she was emailing from a non-government, non-state.gov email, which, depending on what they were emailing, that's the key. What were they emailing? It is bad that they were emailing where she wasn't on a government-issued email. But what will be worse is if emails come out with Obama and Hillary Clinton that show they were talking about intelligence information or talking and sharing classified information. If that happens, that's what you call a smoking gun, both for Hillary Clinton and President Obama. If that were the case, it would lend credibility to those who have been saying President Obama basically forced James Comey of the FBI and the Department of Justice to not indict Hillary Clinton on the private server and the private use of emails, because he knew he would be indicted in these emails if more of them come out, specifically the ones between him and Hillary. Again, speculation, we don't know, but if emails come out, if Wikileaks is holding up the process, if they plan on releasing more emails or any emails with Hillary Clinton to the president that show classified information, high-level intelligence information being shared, that is as much of a smoking gun that you're going to find. And for the people who, say, "Oh, Jordan, you're a Bernie bro. Oh, stop talking about these emails. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here." Well, let me tell you, bottom line, whether you're political or not, Republican, Democrat, the sharing of intelligence information is kind of important. You don't want to be sharing intelligence information on unsecure servers where they could be hacked. I'd say that if it was a Republican doing it, a Democrat doing it, a marshmallow doing it. If the President of the United States knowingly was sharing classified information, or not even classified information, but information that was very sensitive, with Hillary Clinton, who, by the way, as we've seen, her campaign manager, his Gmail account got hacked. So who's to say Hillary Clinton's private account, which was not secure, didn't get hacked? To this moment, we don't have evidence that she was personally hacked. But who knows what WikiLeaks has? So, along with the things we found in WikiLeaks about President Obama before he was even elected the first time, how his campaign was essentially taking advice and suggestions from a Citigroup executive, Michael Froman, who later became Obama's trade representative. He pretty much wrote the TPP. Basically, he was taking his marching orders from Citigroup on who to appoint to his cabinet and which staffers to appoint. Not only that, he wasn't only just taking advice from them. Michael Froman, who was at Citigroup at the time, was literally vetting candidates for Obama. So this hope and change business, yeah, you didn't get it. You didn't get much change. Obama was pretty much a very beautifully soaring language version of Hillary Clinton. If you want to keep it real, he knew how to sell people on hope and change, and he's the next Jesus. I was even swept up in it. I'm not gonna lie. I was a big Obama fan in '08. But you see, from this email, at least Hillary Clinton's campaign knew. All right, he's not telling the truth here. So that's the biggest one I have found today. The mainstream media is not covering it. I've only seen it on Fox News. It's really a shame with these WikiLeaks. When you have to go to Fox News on television to actually get the news, when they're the only ones covering it, and we know why they're covering it, they're Republican and all this, but when you have to resort to giving credit to Fox News because CNN and MSNBC won't touch it, and when they do touch it, it's with kid gloves, that's a sad day for journalism, if that even exists on television news anyway. So Fox News is covering it. CNN and MSNBC, all I see them covering is the news of over 20% hike in Obamacare prices. Rightly so, that's a story, but they are not touching this Obama business. So, moving onward, that was the biggest one. There was also an interesting one. Let me find it here. So, Sheryl Sandberg, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook, she wrote the Lean In book, which is a very big book about females in the workplace, women in the workplace, empowering women. I didn't read it, but I've heard great things. So we've already seen in these emails the cushy relationship between Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook CEO, and the Hillary Clinton campaign. Zuckerberg's assistant, I believe, reached out to Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman asking, "Oh, can Mark meet with you? He really wants to learn about public policy and pick your brain." Well, Sheryl Sandberg, her husband last year tragically died on vacation. I don't recall. I think he was on a treadmill. It was like a freak accident, but her husband passed away. So John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, sent an email, condolences, all this business. Sheryl Sandberg, thank you. Means a lot to me that you reached out. And I like that you guys are praying for Dave, who was her her husband. I have to believe in heaven now. So, all good. Obviously, our thoughts were with Sheryl. We don't encourage or cheer on anybody dying. But then she said, and I still want HRC to win badly. I am still here to help as I can. She came over and was magical with my kids. So, Facebook, which very strangely, throughout the Democratic primaries, even after, suddenly when things are trending that are negative about Hillary Clinton, they stop trending. Bernie Sanders activist groups, Bernie Sanders support groups, just Bernie Sanders supporter groups. Suddenly, in one day, I covered it then, all their pages were taken down. In like rapid fire, one Bernie group after another was taken down. You see on Facebook, certain posts are taken down. Let me tell you, at least we know from the CEO of Facebook, and now the COO, who is pretty much 2 or 3 next to Mark Zuckerberg, that she's a Hillary Clinton supporter. Again, there's nothing wrong with Hillary Clinton's campaign sending condolences, but this just shows that it's not just DC and corporations. Silicon Valley is in the tank with Hillary Clinton and the establishment. I mean, I'm going to tell you another email from Apple that shows Apple was in the tank for Hillary Clinton. So these giant social media companies, these giant tech companies that are becoming more and more prevalent in our politics and our lives are in the tank for Hillary Clinton. There's nothing wrong with a private, there's nothing wrong if a CEO, of Facebook or Apple privately supports a candidate, or they want to donate to the Clinton Foundation, maybe, or other foundations. I'm not going to, just because they work for a corporation doesn't mean they can't support a candidate. But when it's evident in these emails that it's more than just supporting the candidate. You're saying, "Oh, I'm still here to help as I can." What does that mean? I thought Facebook is supposed to just kind of show you what the trends are, what's really trending. Well, we found out in stories, and conservative media was all over this, and honestly, they were right, which is rare. But a couple months ago, there was a story that came out that the editors of what's trending on Facebook were actually choosing to put what's trending on Facebook by ideological lines, and most of the time they were negative towards Republicans and positive towards Democrats, instead of actually going with an algorithm that, like Twitter has an algorithm for what's trending. I'm not going to pretend I know what it is, but it's mathematical or whatever. Well, Facebook was shown months ago that they were basically choosing what they wanted to trend. So this is if you already thought the mainstream media was brainwashing folks to be dumb, now you have social media, which is supposed to be social media. Sorry to the older viewers who are watching. Social media was developed by the youth. Most of these social media companies were developed, created by millennials, and now you have executives basically kissing the Hillary Clinton campaign, telling them, "Oh, I still want Hillary Clinton to win badly. I'm still here to help as I can." And you know what? Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but I do find it very suspect that all of a sudden, one day during the primary, 10 Bernie Sanders support groups get taken down. You see trend when something negative against Hillary Clinton is trending, suddenly that goes away. I see to this day posts censored on Facebook that are negative towards her. So that's what I think. You think what you want. Moving on. We have this one was good. We have moving on to Apple. It was my next tweet. So Hillary Clinton, during the December 19th Democratic debate with Bernie Sanders, there was the whole debate about should Apple unlock the San Bernardino shooter's iPhone. The FBI wanted the information in the phone, but they couldn't unlock it because it had a passcode. Apple CEO Tim Cook, vehemently against this, was fighting the government on this. This develops the whole issue of, privacy versus fighting terrorism. Hillary Clinton, during the debate, I'll read you what she said. I would not want to, the question was, the question was about the fine line between privacy versus fighting terrorism. I would hope that, given the extraordinary capacities that the tech community has and the legitimate needs and questions from law enforcement, that there could be a Manhattan-like project, something that would bring the government and the tech communities together to see they're not adversaries, they've got to be partners. It doesn't do anybody any good if terrorists can move towards encrypted communication that no law enforcement agency can break into before or after. There must be some way. I don't know enough about the technology to be able to say what it is, but I have a lot of confidence in our tech experts. And maybe the back door is the wrong door, and I understand what Apple and others are saying about that. But I also understand when a law enforcement official charged with the responsibility of preventing attacks, to go back to our early questions, how do we prevent attacks? Well, if we can't know what someone is planning, we're going to have to rely on the neighbor or, the member of the mosque or the teacher. Somebody to see something. I think that there's got to be a way, and I would hope that our tech companies would work with government to figure that out. Otherwise, law enforcement is blind before, blind during, and unfortunately, in many instances, blind after. So we always have to balance liberty and security, privacy and safety. But I know that law enforcement needs the tools to keep us safe, and that's what I hope there could be some understanding and cooperation to achieve. I read that word vomit to you because it's like many things she says. She didn't answer the question. She basically tried to play it both sides, straddle the line. Yeah, we need to do everything we can to fight terrorism. We need to give law enforcement every single tool, resource they need to unlock, so to speak, information. But we also have to respect Apple and Silicon Valley because they write my checks too. We have to respect their privacy. So Hillary Clinton dodged on this. She didn't really answer. It was pretty much the same answer she gave on fracking, only about privacy versus fighting terrorism. She didn't give one. She wants to be able to be on both sides, and that's been her MO her whole career. So why I read that to you is because there was an email shown that Hillary Clinton, the campaign advisor, was emailed by Apple in response to that. Let me find it here. In response to her answer during that debate. So the person who emailed, her name is Lisa Jackson. She's a vice president at Apple, so fairly high up. She wrote to John Podesta, who's Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman. Hi, John. I wanted to reach out to say thanks for the principled and nuanced stance the secretary took last night on encryption and the tech sector. Leadership at Apple certainly noticed, and I'm sure that is true throughout the Valley. To me, when I'm reading that, you can hit me if you want, say, I'm reading too much into it. Leadership at Apple certainly noticed, and I'm sure that is true throughout the Valley. What she's saying there is the checks are coming, John. We'll take care of her. If she's with us, we'll be with her. You pat my back, I'll fluff your pillow. I mean, that's what you see that throughout these emails. And this is coded language. She's not going to say, what's your routing number? The check's on the way. But this is how this works. Hillary Clinton basically evades questions, doesn't go one way or the other, stays in the middle. And Apple likes that because she's not going against them. And then Apple, individuals who work for Apple, executives, other Silicon Valley people, leadership at Apple certainly noticed, and I am sure that is true throughout the Valley. So what you see here is there's a lot of money and there's a lot of positives that come out of having no core and having no real position and just floating with the wind, floating by the polls, floating by whatever the majority thinks today. And that's what Hillary Clinton has done her whole career. Does it mean Donald Trump should be president? No. Making that clear. Because you get that a lot when you actually report on Clinton's corruption. Oh, you're trying to elect Trump. No. I'm trying to report the news. I'm trying to report on corruption. I don't care if Trump gets elected versus Hillary Clinton. To me, they're both awful. So it's really not an issue of I'm trying to make sure Hillary doesn't get elected by reporting Wikileaks. I'm a little old school, and I believe corruption is not a normal thing. I don't think we should just be numb to corruption and just say, oh, this is how it's done. You hear that from Hillary people. Nothing to see here. This is just politics as usual. Oh, breaking news. Politicians are corrupt. Yeah, it should be breaking news. And the fact that you all, not you guys watching, but Hillary supporters think this is normal and this is just how business is done. And, you're huffing and puffing over nothing. You're a part of the problem. You trolls right now, you're a part of the problem. I'm just keeping it real. You don't have to like me. I don't care. When you normalize corruption, when you normalize private interests, private companies, the Valley owning our politicians, this is why you have an explosion of income inequality over the last 30 years. This is why the deck is stacked against the middle class, if there is a middle class. So I'm going to keep on reporting on it. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Moving on. I thought this was interesting. It's not scandalous, but just an interesting note. So obviously Hillary Clinton, when there was all this hubbubaloo, will Vice President Biden run? Some were, all the media was obsessed with this. And is he, the signs are he's going to run, this and that. Hillary Clinton, she was saying the right things in public. I respect Vice President Biden and, the process he has to go through to make his decision. Obviously, I sympathize with what he has gone through. As you know, Vice President's oldest son, Beau Biden, passed away last year, brain tumor, I believe. So Biden, waited to make his decision on whether to run or not to run, which makes sense. I mean, when you lose your son, it's obviously a traumatic situation. So the email, Hillary Clinton was just waiting for Biden to make up his mind. Well, an email from Clinton's campaign here. Let me get you the date. It's a planning meeting, so that they're organizing a planning meeting. It's September 2015. Bernie Sanders is obviously the primary at this point, and on the planning meeting, 2 to 4 p.m. Biden plan meeting. So their assumption was, all right, Biden's going to run, so we need to make a plan. Again, not scandalous, but it just shows Hillary Clinton wasn't just sitting by waiting for Joe Biden to make an announcement. Her campaign was already meeting about him. I guarantee you that plan was to develop opposition research and start making the hit pieces now, start the machine now, start planting things with reporters now against Biden in preparation of him coming out. So that was a minor thing, but I thought it was important for you to know. Moving on, more emails show the complete and utter revolving door between Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Clinton Foundation, which at this point, I don't even know why I would have to report on it anymore. It's so self-evident, but I'm going to report on it anyway. So the subject line was Tom Steyer. And this was sent by someone from the Clinton Foundation to John Podesta. Let me tell you who Tom Steyer is. Give me 1 second. So Tom Steyer, he's a hedge fund guy, philanthropist, and he makes oil investments. So he's a billionaire, basically. And he runs the biggest super PAC in the country. Let me find out what he runs. God, so much information in these leaks. Super PAC. I think he runs Next Gen. Yeah. He runs Next Gen, I believe. So Tom Steyer wrote to the Clintons, and here's what the Clinton Foundation say. Let me find the original. Oh, John Podesta. Talked to Tom before and after. He reported a good meeting. We were supposed to talk again this weekend. Did you guys make any specific asks, or should I just try to steer in a direction he's comfortable with? So this is in reference to an original email. The original email said, we are offering Tom a 3 p.m. meeting with Bill Clinton on February 16th. Would you like to come up for it? Also, do you know if they are mainly going to pitch WJC, Bill Clinton, on the Center for the Next Generation that Jim Steyer referenced, or if Tom is also interested in talking about how he can support the Clinton Foundation? So Tom Steyer, head of Next Generation, which is a big environmental super PAC, is going to meet with Bill Clinton. This is actually 2012, so that's interesting. I keep going up. And at this time, John Podesta was still with Obama, so that's even more interesting. So here's what John Podesta says. Let me find it for you. Sorry. Jim kept trying to bring up the kids' campaign, but Bill didn't address it too much. Told Jim to start with Chelsea. After the meeting, I told Tom we will be in California in May and asked if he would be willing to host a fundraiser. He said he would consider it, so that's good. I think we should let the energy/retrofitting project play out. Hopefully that goes well and Tom gets super engaged and excited. And then we could have another conversation with him later this year about the endowment for the Clinton Foundation. In the meantime, when you speak with him, please mention how great it would be if Tom could host an event for Bill Clinton in California in May. So basically you have John Podesta, who at the time was with Obama, actively working with the Clinton Foundation as well to get money for the Clinton Foundation. By the way, this guy, Tom Steyer, has given millions to Hillary Clinton in her run for presidency. So it's one gigantic circle jerk and revolving door between the Clinton Foundation, the Obama administration, Hillary Clinton's campaign. In fairness, this was 2012, so Hillary Clinton's campaign obviously wasn't up and running yet, but this was an election year, President Obama's re-election. Moving on. This, I think, a lot of Bernie Sanders voters would be interested to see. What was Hillary Clinton's view and her campaign's view on closed primaries? As we know, Bernie Sanders pretty much crushed her in many of the open primary states where independent voters could vote. Well, Hillary Clinton's campaign, in an email, they were talking about the next states coming up. Florida looks to be our strongest March 15th state, as we lead 59 to 29. Here, we benefit from Florida being the first big state to hold a fully closed primary. Young voters in the state are disproportionately registered as unaffiliated. and are not allowed to participate in the Democratic primary. So, in fairness, they are stating a fact, but they're also essentially stating, oh, Florida looks to be our strongest March 15th state. We benefit from basically young voters being suppressed because they can't vote because they're unaffiliated, which was the Democratic Party's ploy all along. In New York, you had to literally change your registration from independent to Democrat 6 months before the primary. How many young people do you know that are paying attention in October to vote in April? I mean, I'm 30, but I certainly wasn't. By the way, I couldn't vote in New York because I am an independent and did not switch. I didn't know about that. So this shows you that Hillary Clinton's campaign as a strategy and as a political matter, they like the closed primaries. They like the fact that there is suppression going on. They know that young people don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, generalizing, but the majority voted for Bernie Sanders. So we got to really hammer him in these closed primary states because, we have the rules on our side where young people can't vote. That's a shame. Whether you're liberal, whether you're Republican, it's a shame that this is the view of our politicians, that they don't want as many people to vote for them as possible, but instead they embrace any technicality, any rules, any structure that will decrease voter turnout and decrease the voter turnout of voters who will vote against them. We know Republicans have been doing this for years, but we found out this election is Democrats are doing it as well. And I did a great interview on 2IT Politics with Rolling Stone's Greg Palast. He's an investigative reporter, has a great movie that just came out, all about the election fraud that has gone on. So both of those parts are up on 2IT Politics if you want to watch. Moving on to a few more. One email shows that in response to Hillary Clinton's campaign thinking Joe Biden was literally going to announce that he's running for president on the Colbert show. I guess somebody told Hillary Clinton's campaign he's about to do it. Clinton's communications director wrote, "Lord have mercy." So you could take it one or two ways. They thought, Lord have mercy, like Joe Biden's a joke, or Lord have mercy, we're screwed. I think it was number two, because I think Joe Biden, if he got in, I think he either would have beat Hillary Clinton, or I actually think it would have helped Bernie Sanders, because I think Joe Biden versus Hillary Clinton kind of cancels each other out a little bit, and Bernie might have been able to fighting against one establishment figure is one thing, fighting against two is better. It might have helped him contrast more. But I think they're saying, Lord have mercy, we're screwed. So they had the intel somewhere that Biden was going to run. Obviously, that didn't happen. I just want to tell you, I tweeted this. Instead of covering the new Wikileaks that Barack Obama knowingly lied, they decided, CNN, MSNBC, let's cover Donald Trump. Are you shocked? Covered Donald Trump most of the day. None of this stuff about Obama. I'll give you one or two more since the Young Turks will be going on soon. And Young Turks, I believe, is covering some of these leaks tonight. I know Cenk did a lot about it on them yesterday. So hopefully you folks who have not been in love with their coverage as of late are tuning in, because I know that they have picked up a little bit on more of the WikiLeaks coverage. So Emma Vigeland, my colleague, you should go follow her on Twitter at EMMAVIGELAND. She tweeted this out. Email showing that Hillary Clinton's political director basically asked if Hillary Clinton can maneuver herself to be for the fast track authority on TPP, but against the overall TPP, whatever that means. So I'll read you the email here. It's from Amanda Renteria, trying to delineate this. What if she's for fast track but against the TPP agreement? I'm not sure this is possible, but trying to gauge whether they have fast track, whether they hate fast track or it's more about TPP. She's talking about Elizabeth Warren. I know they don't like both, but it's easier to be lean against an agreement. Then she responded, she added, I worry if Warren takes the trade issue as central to her platform. So this was in April of 2015. She says, I worry if Warren takes the trade issue as central to her platform. I don't know if they're talking about her platform as in they still thought Elizabeth Warren might announce her run for president. At this point, Hillary Clinton did. This was days before Hillary Clinton officially announced. But they're basically saying, can Hillary kind of thread the needle? Can she be for fast track authority, which essentially gives Congress, expedites their ability to ram it through, or but be technically against the TPP. So again, don't have no core, don't take a firm position, be on both sides of the issue, plausible deniability. That's what that is. Good find by Emma. And I'll read you one or two more here. So this one I thought was fairly interesting. Robbie Mook, who is the campaign manager, he and I got into a little exchange at the third presidential debate. That's up on TYT Politics. Again, it didn't go as viral as my tussle with Donna Brazil, but he's like a robot also. Russia, deflected the whole thing. So that's on TYT Politics. Robbie sent an email in February of 2015, so before Clinton announced foundation vulnerability points. So make no mistake, this campaign knew the Clinton Foundation was a problem, and they were just hoping that we could slide by on this. Below is a list of key vulnerability points for consideration. John, I added some important process questions at the end per our discussion this morning. One category was donations and candidate participation. And they were bulleted. First bullet, money from foreign governments. Second bullet, domestic or foreign individual donors with vetting issues, i.e. the campaign and foundation should agree on vetting criteria and jointly discuss any donors who fall outside the criteria. Another bullet, HRC attending foundation events. Another bullet, HRC's name remaining in the foundation name. Operational issues, travel on corporate or donated planes. These should be vetted against SD and Senate work. Another bullet, especially lavish high-end hotels for events. Some reports have come out that Hillary Clinton likes herself some lavish hotels. Another bullet, overseas events with foreign leaders or government officials. Another bullet, if the foundation's issue reports that are critical of its own progress or indicate that there may not have been progress on projects. Another bullet, potential conflicts from overseas owned organizations, UK and Sweden. So what this tells you, this was not a campaign in the dark. They knew Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton had engaged in a lot of questionable behavior, had a lot of questionable donors, and they knew that it was going to be a tough spot for the campaign. So they were basically issuing, before they announced, a battle plan. Some would say that's smart. I say that shows they know that they're engaged in a very thin line, borderline corruption. I think it's corruption. So there's more emails, but I don't want to go on for 2 hours. So one more. Sorry, I cannot go in reporting about WikiLeaks without mentioning my friend Neera Tanden, who I love to label as a faux progressive. I start every tweet about Neera Tanden as faux progressive. Neera Tanden said this. She's used a lot of words. I'm not going to repeat them, but she likes cursing. She's pretty much like the political version of Mean Girls, the movie with all the bratty girls who are mean to each other and talking about each other behind your backs. So Neera Tanden, in an email, basically was questioning other Hillary Clinton aides, Cheryl Mills, Philip Raines, and their behavior and what they've been trying to do in terms of covering up her private email use and trying to make it look less bad than it really is. So she wrote, I guess I know the answer. They wanted to get away with it. Unless he's the Walking Dead, Bush will go to town tomorrow, given his release in December or whatever it was. They're talking about Jeb Bush, presuming he's going to hit her on whatever the latest in the email scandal is. But Neera Tanden, who's BFFs with Hillary Clinton, she doesn't officially work for the campaign, but she's all over these emails. She did work for the campaign. She's the president of the Center for American Progress, which is a neoliberal think tank pretending to be progressive. So she basically said in writing, yeah, they wanted to get away with it, her using the private server and not answering to anyone. So that tells you all you need to know. I think with this, I'm going to keep on digging in. You can follow me at Twitter at JORDANCHARITON. I've been on this since day one. I probably at this point tweeted over 500 of these emails. I'm also doing videos here on YouTube, but I will also after this be going to Facebook, TYT Politics on Facebook, to do another video, this time on Bernie Sanders. There's some new developments about Bernie Sanders that I think you guys are going to be interested in. He is revving up. I know some of you don't like him anymore. You think he sold out, whatever. Not going to tell you how to feel. But Bernie Sanders is preparing to fight from day one. He's not giving Hillary Clinton any honeymoon if she becomes president. So I'm going to do a Facebook video on that so you have the latest on Bernie. And I'm just going to keep on WikiLeaking. This is my Christmas, my Hanukkah, whatever you want. I enjoy this. I enjoy fighting corruption. I enjoy the trolls. As FDR once said, I invite your hatred. I'm paraphrasing. I think he said it differently, but I welcome your hatred. Because I'm not here to be a journalist for 40 years and be comfortable. I don't want to have cocktails with politicians. I certainly don't want to have cocktails with the rest of the press. I'm here to take down the corrupt. That is my mission. That's all I care about. Period. Will I cover Donald Trump if there's something to cover that I find is unique? Yeah, I will. But the reason I don't cover him that much is because the rest of the media is doing it 24/7. I don't need to copycat what other people are doing. I don't think it's in the public interest to do that. I'll let the other media cover the sexual assault charges and all that, which should be covered. So, thank you for watching. Reminder, youtube.com/TYTpolitics. Over 96,000 subscribers. That's in 10 months. I'd like to get to 100,000 by election day. I need your help to do that. Subscribe. Peace.